So I have no idea how this is going to turn out. This should be very interesting. But I was cruising around, looking at some of the usual suspects. You know, bunch of hot, fetid trash, and I found that Gothix was on an episode of Bannon's War Room. Now, for those who don't know, Bannon, when he's not having to deal with his impending imprisonment, he likes to hang out with Mike Lindell, the My Pillow crackhead. And Lindell has his own TV channel. It is hilarious. It is bizarre. But in this, he's going to be talking about the left is psychologically enslaving black Americans. Now, before I play it, I am not going to be speaking for black people because I don't know if you noticed this or not. I'm not black. And also, even if I was, I think it's kind of weird to speak for all of any given demographic, even if you are one. You can say, as a blank, this informs my experience. However, I am one of the vice generals of the left and Papa Soros's woke mob. So I will be speaking from the position of someone on the left about whether or not we are doing that. Let's do it.
Let me go back to Vanessa. You're going to be at the heart of this. Vanessa, why is this not... It sounds so powerful and logical. Why have we not had more of these? Why is it October of 2022 and we're finally doing this and getting up there and having people in freedom and liberty go at it as America, as we do? Why is it taking so long to actually get this done?
I don't know what the fuck he's referencing. Gothix edited this, so I don't know why she wouldn't start with like the context. I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, from my perspective, I've seen a lot of attempts to bring people together to have these types of conversations, but I find more often than not, they just get buried and censored, and oftentimes people don't even want to come to the table because I think that there's some level of maybe fear of being misled, and that's something that I can totally relate to as someone who walked away from the left. It was a little bit of a shock thinking, oh wow, I've been misled this entire time. Democrats don't care about me. So now I'm so honored to be.
It's very strange though. Like, well, okay, obviously we understand, and I will say it, even though she likes to use it as part of her marketing. Yes, Gothix is a grifter. She absolutely is a grifter. She leans into that for her branding, like, hoo, they're going to call me grifter. Well, I am a grifter. Check me out. I'm a grifter. Just because I state my opinion, which happens to, like, perfectly coincide with the other right-wing propagandists that I am currently parroting. But it's so strange to me to sell this line of, like, well, this side didn't give a shit about me, so I'm going to jump into this other side that is overwhelmingly encouraging me, but also advocating for things that will hurt people like me. Okay. It's kind of like one of those, people are being mean to me, so I'm going to saw my own fucking head off. Oh, okay, sure, fuck, whatever, it's fine.
Be a part of moderating this event because I have the perspective of both sides, and I'm very...
Oh, yeah, no, we talked about that when I first started looking into Gothix. Yeah, when she walked away from the left, she just suddenly had like all this funding and everything like that. And I don't know if she even had much of an audience when she was left. She seemed to come out of fucking nowhere. Then again, somebody else said that she like had a little bit of a following under some podcasts or something like that, but I don't know.
Curious to see how what ideas we can come out of this and maybe even change some minds.
Give our audience, talk about your journey. Talk about you as a Democrat, you as a young person, and what's the arc of your story?
Oh, yeah. So the only time that I voted prior to the 2020 election was for Barack Obama, and I voted for him simply because he was black.
Ah, that's weird. That's really weird. Why would you do that? That's not why I voted for him. It's so strange. It's this weird, like, just telling on yourself, like, I just did not think about politics at all. I was just purely motivated by, like, racialized thinking. I wonder if that's something that she's going to then try and, like, say that the left does overwhelmingly. I don't know.
And back then, I had no idea that that was incorrect and that I actually had to research and look into the candidates that were running. I just knew he was black and we wanted to get the first black president in office. And I didn't question it.
It might have had something to do. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. It might have had something to do with 8 years of having a president who was an absolute dumbfuck, who led us into a forever war, who drove us into Iraq even though Iraq is not who attacked us. One of the most clear and obvious cases of fucking corruption and trying to utilize a mobilized, outraged populace to justify going and slaughtering people that had nothing to do with what happened to us. Because the thing is, and this is what a lot of people don't really remember, is that by the end of George Bush's presidency, everybody fucking hated him. I mean everybody. Like, the thing is, everybody was banded together during 9/11, like, oh, God, we're all united on this. We're all united in this, and that's why we're going to go to Iraq? What? And then when lost the people on the lefter side of the political spectrum because of that, the right still tried to stay with him. They tried to stay with him for a long fucking time until they were like, wow, this is a fuck up. This is a huge, incredible fuck up. What in the fuck? And so everybody fucking hated him. You could have run anybody on the Democrat side. It just so happened that also Barack Obama was a very strong candidate. Maybe his race played part of that. I don't know. But to say it was just because he was black is hilariously stupid.
And there's this stereotype in the black community that black people are born Democrat. It's like the default setting. And what I realized is
Who says that?
It's common that people just don't ask why. There's no questions behind it. You just get your marching orders, go to the ballot box, and do the thing.
Maybe it's because there's a lot of like outwardly racist Republicans. It might be that. I don't know. There are some right now. Right now. I don't know.
And what woke me up was during
money.
2020 with the Black Lives Matter movement and COVID. I'm hearing on the one hand that we have to stay home and flatten the curve, but on the other hand, thousands of people can go out and march in the streets for this guy that no one knew. So it got me thinking.
Yeah, if you don't know somebody and then they die because of police corruption and overreach, and you watched him literally die on camera, why would you be upset about that? Just stay home. Just stay home.
Is COVID really as bad as they say it is?
Yes, millions of people are dead.
Or is it that they're just using black people because it wasn't making sense? And after that, I did my research.
African American communities disproportionately suffered more during COVID than anybody else did. So just that's the truth.
And then I realized, okay, they've been doing this for generations. They really are using black people.
Did she say anything? Did she actually say anything? I didn't. Did you catch it? Because good luck troll with cancer up here was like, take us through your journey from being a Democrat to now where you are. And she's like, yeah, I just voted for Obama because he was black, and I thought I had to be Democrat because I was black, which is just telling on yourself that you're a fucking idiot. And then COVID happened, and there were marches against police brutality, and so I was like, oh, they're just using black people. Well, how? And in what way? And how does that that doesn't make any fucking sense. She said fucking nothing. Her and Candace Owens and the Thunderdome of Ideas. See, that's the thing, though. Gothix is never going to be as big as Candace Owens at all. She can repeat every single thing that Candace Owens says all day long, but she's not as hot. So the people who run these types of shows, they're not going to put her up on stage as much as they will Candace Owens. It's as simple as that. That's literally the only reason why. The only reason why Candace Owens right now is propped up as this symbol is because she is incredibly attractive. Gothix even talks better than Candace Owens. Candace Owens is dumb as fuck. And Gothix actually has like a very good way of enunciating things and speaking, even if she's not saying anything. She sounds better. It just won't work.
I come from Richmond, Virginia. I was raised on the north side, which is a predominantly black neighborhood. And one thing, my family used to be Democrats. The one thing you see is that the Democratic Party just takes advantage. I mean, there's no changes. There's never any change. There's never anything about crime. There's never anything about not poverty, but about helping job creation, helping entrepreneurs come in and get capital, really rejuvenate these neighborhoods.
It's weird that you say that when we have a massively low unemployment right now, and like job creation is through the roof right now. It's weird that you say that, but also like I tend to not give a fuck about this kind of talking point because you can just like move the needle back and forth, and one side is better than the other, or blah 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 blah. Honestly, I don't think either side really gives that much of a shit. Not really.
Of anything that's just not more social control. I call it kind of the plantation. My mom's from Baltimore. You see Baltimore, how beautiful Baltimore used to be in the same situation. But because I worked in many jobs with a lot of black guys, they seem to understand. They're very awake that the Democratic Party doesn't do anything for African Americans. Is that now
Does the Republican Party? It doesn't seem like it.
Becoming more and more that people are saying, hey, we just don't have to be bound by just voting for the Democratic Party. We have to hold the Democratic Party accountable for their actions. And if they're not helping the community, then we got to look at another alternative. Hey, maybe we don't like Trump, but at least maybe these Republicans are more entrepreneurial. Is there?
But they're not. They're not. Holy fucking shit, they're not. It's so like this is one of the reasons why politics is so much fucking cancer. The only policy position that the right has right now is that leftists, liberals, blah, 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 everybody's all packed together and they're all bad. And they all want to fucking mutilate your kids' genitals or whatever. And they're using you and this, that, and the other. You're like, okay, well, what are you going to do to change it? Well, but look, so the left is so bad. Like, okay, we get that. But what is your idea? And if you press them long enough, they'll be like, well, tax breaks for the rich. Like, oh. Oh. What?
Is there a movement happening in that right now, do you think?
I'm seeing it happen more and more, but not to the amount that I think it should be. And I think a big reason for that is because there's a little bit of, there's a lot of manipulation that happens within Black America where it's like this idea, if you are not a Democrat, you are betraying your own people and you are a race traitor. And there's a certain way that a Black person in America is supposed to think and behave. And it's very.
Yeah, and that kind of shit is wrong and bad. But at the same time, if you can point to somebody that you think is making choices and voting against their own self-interest, it's okay to point that out. It's okay. Tribalism is not good. It's not good. However, pointing out very specifically ways in which you might be hurting yourself or the people around you in your community by certain choices is, as long as it's not done within some slavish devotion to a throwback opinion. And that's what she wants to paint it as. And I think that does happen, but I would be very curious to be demonstrated how it's something more psychologically pervasive than it's simply like, what are you doing? These people aren't good either. In fact, they're worse. Like, it's crazy.
Very obvious, and I think that's what is holding a lot of Black people from taking that step away from the left is because, well, you don't want to get your Black card removed. You don't want to be looked at as like someone that's betraying your own kind. And I think that was intentional, the way that this whole identity politics has been set up. It's a way to basically have you psychologically enslaved to forever support a party that hasn't done anything despite voting the same people in year after year, and the cities still look the same way that it is. We have high illiteracy rates for Black.
Yeah. Hang on. Before we get into this, keep in mind, overwhelmingly, blue states are paying the lack that red states bring in. Overwhelmingly. Sources of industry and hubs of commerce, like cities, they overwhelmingly are producing lots and lots of tax revenue. Those tax dollars very oftentimes go to pick up the dead weight of other poor red states. That just fucking happens. It's not like if you're like, well, I will move from New York City to buttfuck, nowhere in some red state, and suddenly like the schools get better. You really think that's how it works? 'Cause it don't. And the thing is too, the right has never advocated that we revamp the way we do school funding. Right now, public schools are funded based on property taxes, overwhelmingly so. What that means is that if you live in a poor area, that school that your kid goes to has less money for things like teachers and teaching supplies than a place that has high property value, in which case they have very nice rich schools. Is Gothix going to tell you that we should change that? No, because that's not a right-wing talking point. You know who does advocate for that? Leftists. Not really that many Democrats, but some. More than there are on the right.
Black students in America. And I think it's just, like I said, it's that fear of being othered.
You have everything. You have.
Or you could just be stupid and you don't want to be called out on your stupid ideas, so it has to be like some big psyop.
Poverty, you have no jobs, the crime is out of control. I keep telling people, all the victims of the crimes are the African American Hispanic community. These hardworking families that try to make a go of it have an onslaught of everything against them. The pressure in all of these is always on the moderator. Walk the audience through, as the moderator, to walk us through your thought process and how you're going to bring both sides in, because we want a robust debate. Right, we don't want to be too Pollyannish, because there's a lot of what separates us, and what's going to unite us is coming together, thinking things through, and saying, "Hey, I can understand your side." So, as moderator, how do you intend to handle this intense debate?
Oh, she's going to be moderating something? That's interesting. That is interesting. I wonder what exactly it was. Huh.
Yeah, so I'm going to be totally honest with you. This is the first event that I've ever moderated, but I am a good conversationalist. And after walking away, I've gotten that perspective to see what is the best course of action to actually bring people together and have a conversation. Nobody learns anything from yelling matches. Nobody learns anything from slinging insults at one another. So I'm going to try to direct the debate and have people just say their piece, but use logic.
God, you can hear Bannon breathing heavily into his fucking microphone. This is the kind of quality you get on Lindell TV.
Instead of feelings, and try to just have it as plain as possible, because I think the other thing that I want to come out of this is for
I'm a good talk gooder.
everyone watching to be able to gain a new perspective that they might not have been able to get because they've already had this perception about the other side. It's kind of prevented them from listening to what their opinions are.
Vanessa, how can people follow you, your podcast, all your broadcasting, your writing, social media, all of it? Where do they go?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, on Rumble, all my social media platforms at Gothix TV. That's Gothix with an X at the end, TV.
Let's see.
Gothix, Gothix TV.
This Saturday, I'll be moderating a debate between Black Americans on the left versus right, the Walk Away campaign. Fascinating. The Walk Away campaign. Here, I got
no cameras around.
Oh boy. Black American Culture War live debate. I didn't even hear that this fucking happened. This is like 3 weeks ago? What? What in the fuck is that?
Is exactly the same, except you'll ask people to sign your walk-away petition.
What in the fuck? Okay, the thing is, you want to have a spirited debate between both sides at an event called Walk Away? What? This is incredible. Wow. Do they have the list of people that were on? I'm so curious. Jesus Christ. I wonder how fucking crazy it got. I don't maybe I know some of these. I don't know. Let's just pick a random spot. Yeah, like right here. Let's see.
Leave the black woman and the child susceptible to violent crimes, susceptible to not being protected. This has been pushed by the right in their support of police, even when they do wrong. If you want an example of that, all you got to do is
hardly talked about, and in fact, the left-wing media and politicians continue to deny the violence, labeling 2020 the summer of love. More than 90% of all people
Oh boy, sounds very balanced and unbiased. Interesting. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think I really have enough stamina to try and watch this whole thing. But yeah, that was that was Gothix on Steve Bannon's War Room. Fascinating stuff. Big brain takes from Gothix here. Glad to see you. Yeah. It's I don't know. It's the same old. It's stale to me at this point. You know, it's weird. Oh well.